on that note, we should jump into Summer House, but before we do, did you see the backlash that Hannah got, from the Oscars?
I didn't see the backlash. I saw her respond to the backlash.
Yeah, so essentially, Hannah and Paige were interviewing people for the Oscars red carpet with Vanity Fair, and they were interviewing Megan Thee Stallion, and Hannah was, like, talking about how much she loves Megan's music, and she was like, "It makes me wanna, like, go out and fight someone," and obviously, that's pretty, like, offensive to say to a Black woman, even though she didn't realize what she was saying was
Yeah.
offensive. Um,
How
I
did Megan Thee Stallion respond?
I think that she was just, like, pretty straight-faced. I don't think that she, like, had a response. I think they kinda just moved past it and, like, talked about something else. I don't think Megan has, like, said anything about it, so I
I
don't
doubt Megan
know.
cares.
Yeah, I think she's just like, "I don't even know who this girl is," like, whatever.
Yeah. I don't
Also
know. I don't
yeah,
know. I'm, like, over it. Like, I clearly, that's not how she meant it. I think Megan does have a lot of really good pump up music, Megan Thee Stallion. Like,
mhm. No, obviously, she didn't mean it. I think her apology was really solid,
totally.
and I don't think she deserves to be, like, canceled. I don't think she is. I think
She's
it's just like
definitely not canceled. I think
no
people are exhausted of canceling people. Like,
yeah.
not everyone can be perfect 24/7. She didn't realize what she was saying. Then she realized that, like, it could be a microaggression, and she was like, "That was my bad."
She's
Okay,
like, "I wish
great.
I used any other word," and, like, "I'm so sorry to Megan," and, like, "Thank you for, like, letting me know that this is what
It
happened,"
wasn't a
you know?
totally. Yeah. Again, like, we should be able to, like, criticize, give people, like, helpful criticisms or constructive criticisms and not, like, decide that they're bad racist people.
100%. Nuance.
Nuance
Also,
here at the
I
pod.
but it just goes to show, I think that, like, they're so big now that, like, I think they just need to be a little more media trained.
Right. I
Like,
totally
they're not, like,
agree.
red carpet interviewers. They're not like Juliana Rancic. Like,
Right.
they're just being,
Yeah.
like, like, silly girls, which is
Yes.
their brand, and it's great, but I think there is, like, a level of, like, okay, this is, like, what's politically correct and, like, what's not.
Totally.
Just, like, I think they are just gonna have to be a little more polished, but I hope that doesn't take away from, like, their banter.
Yeah, I mean, Hannah's a comedian, and comedians say things that are, like, not the most PC some of the time, and sometimes it
Yeah,
works for them, and sometimes they're like, "That was too far." And so I think to your point, if she's gonna be interviewing people, that's, like, not a time for a certain type of comedy.
for sure. Yeah. So, on that note, I think this is very relevant and ties into this most recent episode of Summer House and the whole downfall or almost downfall of Paige, Kyle, and Amanda.
Yes.
I mean, I've thought about for years how crazy it is that Paige is able to maintain this friendship with Amanda and with Hannah when the two of them had such a bad falling out and the three of them were such close friends.
Mhm.
Um, I like to think that there's a ton of like offline conversation where Paige is like, listen, like Summer House is my main source of income and like I need this show. And Hannah understands and respects that. And because it's Paige's job, like she has to be good with Amanda.
Totally.
And she can't like just cut ties with Amanda because and I think we've talked about this in a previous episode. Do you think that this makes Paige like a good friend or do you think that like she needs to pick a side like Kyle said?
Okay, so I literally took notes on this. So I think there's 2 ways to look at this, which is basically what you just outlined. One is that Paige is an adult and she's mature, being able to stay Switzerland and be a good friend to both Amanda and, Hannah. On the flip side, as Taylor says, or I think a lot of people have said this, "A friend to all is a friend to none." And, like, whose side are you taking? As an adult, as someone who's, like, matured past a lot of these kind of, like, I don't know, these types of dynamics, I tend to believe that she is mature. I don't think you should have to take sides. But even if you agree with the second, with even if you agree that a but even if you agree that a friend to all is a friend to none and she should have to take a side, why does Kyle care? That would be Amanda. Amanda would be the one who would say, you need to have my back. Or Hannah would be the one to say, you would need to have my back. The fact that Amanda is okay with the dynamic, Hannah is okay with the dynamic, Paige is doing her best to maintain, you know, just peace with everyone and be the best friend she can. Why is Kyle fucking everything up? It's just so not his place.
I know, and it's just so typical Kyle to, like, make everything about him,
Yeah,
and I
I
feel
mean,
like I think it's, like, just speaks to more, like, Kyle and Amanda's dysfunction.
100%.
The fact, like, when he was calling Paige out at that table and Amanda was, like, sinking down in her chair,
Yes.
like, how uncomfortable she was and how, like, physically in pain she looked, like, I she doesn't Kyle doesn't think about how rage texting Paige is gonna impact Amanda.
Yes. Totally.
He's very impulsive.
He's very impulsive and he's also codependent
Yes.
because why do you think people who are your friends owe you things? Like, why do you think, and not even, why do you think Craig owes you? Clearly, Craig didn't want to invest in Loverboy. Yeah, sure, he said, like, maybe he said, okay, I'll let you counter pitch, whatever. But read the room, Kyle. He invested in a different beverage company. Like,
Because he doesn't wanna be tied to you.
that's okay. Even if he doesn't, even if he did, but he's like, you know what? Loverboy is great, but like, this business model's better. Like, that's okay. Not everyone who's known you, who's ever said hello to you, means that they're going to invest in your company or not invest at all. Maybe there are other companies they want to invest in. And same with Paige. Why do you think Paige owes you anything to like defend you to the grave if her business partner says something? Like it's just he's so codependent that and it is his ego that he thinks that Paige and everyone owes him things.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he's just like a big baby
Yeah.
man-child, and he always, like, storms out, and he's like, "I'm leaving. I'm leaving." He says it every time.
But I do think he genuinely gets overwhelmed and, like, doesn't know how to handle the situations. Like, I don't think he's saying that for dramatic effect. I think he really does kind of lash out at people and then feels really small and embarrassed.
Yeah, I think so, and then but he, like, doesn't help himself, like, Amanda leaves and is literally hiding in the bathroom, and he goes to find her, and I'm, like, hoping that they could be like, "Alright, that was a lot," and they could, like, calm down, but he, like, continues to, like, rant at her when she's overwhelmed too. I think that, like, it's hard because neither one of them, like, can be, like, the stable, secure one to, like, bring them back down to reality. Like,
I
they're
think
both
Amanda is. I actually thought when Amanda said I wrote this, when she said, "You don't need everyone to see where you're coming from all the time." I was like,
oh, yeah.
"That's
That was
so,
giving therapy. I'm like, "Ooh, that was a good one." You definitely
so"
learned that in therapy.
yes, like, so wise that she can, like, take a step back. And even when she would say, like, I am with you with how hurt you've been, I like understand you. It doesn't mean that you get to act like this. Like, I think everything she said was trying to center them, but she said, even in the show, in the episode, she said, once Kyle's in this state, there's nothing I can say. Like,
Yeah,
he's just spiraling.
right, exactly. Um, and then, like, I did feel kinda bad for Kyle, though, the next morning when he like, they're waking up and he was just like, "I didn't sleep all night, I was really anxious," and she's just like, "Go to the gym, like, go talk to Carl about
Mhm,
it." Like,
mhm.
I mean, I get it, she has a right to be angry and, like, maybe she just, like, wasn't ready to talk about it, but I just feel like I don't know, I just felt like that was, like, really harsh.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the amount of time she's probably been through this, she's just like exhausted.
She's exhausted. They're just it's just crazy when I saw a clip of the fight they got into when Kyle says, "Summer should be fun. Amanda, not fun." Like,
Yeah.
I forgot how bad that fight is and, like, the things that he says, like, that is, like, funny, and I feel like that clip has been, like, immortalized, but, like, it's actually a really dark moment in their
Yes.
relationship, and the fight that they're having, I was just like, "How did these 2 people get married?"
It's crazy.
Yeah. I thought it was sweet when Amanda comes into the room and her and Paige hug and she was like, "I don't ever wanna fight with you." Like, that was such a girlhood moment. Like,
Definitely.
you really see how much Amanda and Paige care about each other
Yes. And
and
how much
how
it affects Paige that she has to navigate these two her two best friends who don't like each other or speak.
Yeah, and I feel like Summer House has done their best to really like erase Hannah and try to like make it like she was never there. And I feel like the producers are probably like, "Oh shit, we fired her and now she's like this huge star."
Yeah.
And like they're probably like, "We don't want to give her any airtime." So like Paige Paige even said like, "It's crazy. Giggly Squad is like the
Yes.
biggest part of my life, and for 2 months out of the year I can't talk about it at all."
I thought that was so like such an important comment. I like that like really struck me.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, she is so supportive, like, she drinks Loverboy, she, like, shows up to all of Kyle and Amanda's events, and, like, he doesn't do anything for her, like, it really is like he feels entitled to have everyone's undying
Yeah,
loyalty, but he doesn't, like, return the favor to anyone,
totally.
and she calls him out on that. Okay, let's talk about the gender reveal.
Yes.
Absolutely batshit crazy that Lindsay's ex-fiance is at this gender reveal and not her baby daddy and fiance. Or
I mean,
boyfriend, not fiance.
I have nothing to say about the baby daddy slash boyfriend because I just think, first of all, we know that their relationship's on the rocks because there were rumors that they had broken up. I don't know if and or when we'll know that, but the least surprising thing ever. But back to the Carl of it all, I just think Lindsay is the worst of the worst. Like, I really do. I think she's so disrespectful. And Danielle, it was funny because Danielle in one of the confessionals was like, is it possible Lindsay's trying to rub it in Carl's face? I don't think so. I think Lindsay literally is so detached. I don't think she cares about Carl at all. Like, I
No,
don't
she
think it
doesn't.
phases her that he's there. I think she'd be acting this exact same way if he wasn't there. This is not about her caring or getting even. She literally doesn't care, which is even worse. Carl is normal. Carl was like, this woman was my best friend for 10 years. Then we dated, then we got engaged. I'm not still into her. Like everything's okay, but like of course I care about her and of course I want the best for her and of course I'm trying to navigate this in like a way that respects like makes everything okay, make people in the house comfortable. She's just like, I mean, he just really doesn't mean anything to me. And like it's just does she think that having a soul like makes her weak? Like I don't understand.
Right, exactly. Like, I just think, like, she is so, um I don't know what the word is, but, like, she's just not, like, a human who, like, has, like, regulated emotions
No.
at all.
No.
And I still think that she's, like, in her, like, "This is my redemption era." Like, in her mind, she's just like, "This is me, like, I got left at the altar, and now I'm getting my fairy tale ending, and, like,
It's
I'm pregnant," and but no one sees it that way except for her and
no.
maybe Gabby.
Um oh my god, wait, why wasn't Gabby on this episode?
I don't know, I get sometimes they're, like they have, like, certain weekends where they're, like, away, but, like, again, speaks to the point that I think I didn't even realize Gabby wasn't there until the end because she's just Lindsay's henchman, like, she serves no purpose in this house other than to just pump Lindsay up.
I didn't literally know that she wasn't there until you just said that. First of all, Danielle, I think even worse than Lindsay, I think Danielle's my least favorite character
By far.
ever.
It's been
She's
so
just
pleasant without her.
she just makes but just her role in all of it, it makes my skin crawl. Like it's just I don't know, when I see people like who are such followers who have no identity outside of a friend that they have, like it's just the antithesis of like everything that I am as a person. That sounds like very pick me, but it's really genuine. I just cannot relate. I don't know. It's just oh, like what do you contribute?
She is just so annoying.
Yes,
Like, I just don't know how else to describe her as just, like, a very annoying person. I'm so glad that she's not on the show this
same.
season. It's, like, noticeably better without her. We just have such a good cast right now, such good energy with everyone because I feel like everyone's genuinely friends. Paige and Amanda and Sierra fucking hate Danielle. And it's,
Yeah,
like, just better and
obviously.
they don't like Lindsay either, but they understand Lindsay's purpose. Like, Danielle serves
Right.
no purpose.
Right. Um I speaking of Danielle being a loser, I definitely think she wanted to get with Imral.
Oh my god, 100%.
And then when they went out, he just like brought someone back. She was like not even on his radar as a person to get with. Him. I mean, Danielle would get with anyone. Like I feel like I'm surprised she didn't get with the chef.
No, literally. Remember she was getting with the balloon guy last summer? Anyone that, like, looks her direction.
Yes. It's really sad, which is also sad because her boyfriend from 2 summers ago, or I actually thought
Yeah,
he was great. I thought they were like endgame. I'm like, he's so normal. He brings her down to earth. This gives her like, I don't know, like a life outside of Lindsay. So it is sad that that didn't like
I
create,
know.
that didn't like make her into like a full person. It's like that kind of fell apart and now she's back to being just like sad and desperate.
Yeah, totally. I know. If she wasn't on reality TV, maybe they could have been together. What was his name? Robert?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Like,
I also want to point out because you were always the person to say Amanda has like the best style, and I loved her outfit at the gender reveal or
what
like
was
the
she
gender reveal
wearing? I
dinner.
don't
She was
remember.
wearing literally a white baby tee and a low rise, long, like not pencil skirt, but like a maxi skirt,
Oh,
but like just a plain pink skirt. What I mean, obviously Paige is like the fashion girly, but Paige always looks a little too like. I mean, this is just again
Prissy?
prissy. I mean, I did love her outfit, but just a little too stylized.
Mhm.
And that's just like not my style. She looks amazing. Her wardrobe's amazing. But Amanda, like, I literally want her wardrobe because everything she wears, like, I would wear. Whereas Paige, I'd be like, where the fuck am I wearing this?
Yes. Paige always looks like she's going out for, like, high tea,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Amanda looks like she could, like, walk the streets of Soho and, like, be
Totally.
snapped by, like, the paparazzis.
Yes.
I know I actually kinda feel like I dress like Paige and you dress like Amanda.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to because you're always like, Amanda has the best style. And
Well, I
and
think that I love I feel like I just, like, admire Amanda's style because it's so different from my own, and
yes.
I acknowledge, like, how cool she looks, but, like, I don't dress like that, I dress like Paige.
Right. No, and I wasn't, this is like almost over. I wasn't saying that because I didn't want to say I had better style. I just know that you said how much you love Amanda's style, so I didn't want to be like, that's my style. But I really do agree that the way she dresses, how it's very like effortless and she just like pulls it together, like with like the baby tee and the long skirt, like it's just very like casual. Whereas
Mhm.
I think it is effortless, like it's, but it's not as casual. It's just it's more stylized.
Right, exactly. Um, I like that they're both in style, but so different from each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
Um, we digress.
We digress.
So,
Now that we're like complimenting each other, how I'm Amanda and you're Paige.
yes, we really are, I love that for us.
Me too.
Um, okay, um, Lexi and Jesse update.
Okay. So I just want to say there are things that you call, and I'm like, you totally called it. I called from the beginning, from the first episode, that Jesse was gonna, he was gonna lose it. The spark was not gonna maintain. Just
Right.
because, yes, he looked at her and was like, holy shit, you're hot. She was into him, and he was like, oh my God, this is the best. He was so excited that she was into him. But she was so into him that I'm like, there's just no way this is going to be maintained because he's just gonna like, it's like it's not fun anymore for him. There's like no effort. She was basically just like, I want you and I only want you to want me, and we're a week into the summer and we need to be exclusive. And he was like, okay. And you could just see it's like already wearing on him.
I've seen really funny, like, comments just being like, you could hear Jesse's boner deflate when she said that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really funny.
Um, yeah, he's definitely like, "Oh, what did I get myself into?" And the fact that it was really funny when they were in the car and he was like, "I'm kinda, like, concerned that, like, Lexi's, like, a jealous girl." And then Paige is like, "What gave you that impression?" And he was like, "She told me she's jealous." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Um, I mean, I think it's good to be self-aware, but
Totally.
I think they're, like, sad that now Jesse's not gonna be able to, like, comment on all their pictures and be like, "You look fire, like, you're so hot."
Sad. I think they're just like, that's you. Like, what do you mean
Right.
you're just not gonna be like funny and charming and flirty? Like that
That's
is
your personality.
right. Like
Yeah.
that's something that Jesse's partner should find extremely attractive about him. That he's just always like making girls smile. Like he's adorable. He's but like know in your heart that like he's only into you and like his personality is just like being adorable and funny. But to have a girlfriend or a partner who like won't let that side of him show is obviously just not going to be a fit for him. He's a flirtatious guy, and it's just like
It
that's what's
just
part of his charm.
it speaks to the fact that she's 26 and she's, like, more insecure
Yes.
probably, and, like, I think someone older or a little more secure at that point would be like, I get that, like, he's just kinda flirty with everyone, but I know that, like, he doesn't mean it, like, he's just having fun and, like, he
Right.
is, like, faithful to me.
And that's why I love him because
Right.
he right. And I mean, I actually had a similar thought that I actually also think that she's too intimidated by him because he's older
Mhm.
and she's so afraid of him not liking her that she's like afraid to bring any real substance to the relationship. Like I feel like she's just like kind of like plays the role. She's almost like manic pixie dream girl, like adjacent, where she's just like
Mhm.
hee hee hee, like
Right.
another day of me not knowing how to do anything, like unfold the chair or like I don't know if you saw on the beach. And then she also with the hot tub, she's like, how long do you think it's gonna take? Like, I mean, that's a question I would ask, but uh I just think she's just, like, there to, like, kind of, like, boost his ego and be, like, silly. Even when when they first met, he made a funny comment about her last name, like, "Oh, like, Lexi Wood," and she's like, "Oh my god, I've never heard that." And then in the confessional, she was just like, "Of course I've heard that." Like, I actually think she's really cool, and in the confessional, there's, like, so much substance to her, but it's just so obvious it comes across that she's, like it's almost like she's the freshman, he's the senior, and she's,
Mhm.
like, too afraid to bring anything real, um, and because of that, they can't really form a bond, and he's just bored because she's not, like, bringing anything. That's my take,
Right,
that's my
she's not
read.
showing, like, her full, like,
Yes.
personality because she just wants to be fun and like the cool girl
Right.
era.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
so obvious, and, like, he is way too interesting for that, and I just don't think it's gonna, like, last.
I just think he's gonna end up with a nice Jewish girl,
I
you
mean,
know?
yeah. I think at the beginning he definitely was like, "I'm gonna marry her. I'm obsessed with her." And then the more that he got to know her, he was just like, I don't think he thinks it's for him. But I still think that if Paige wanted to get with him, he would. I mean, she doesn't.
100%.
But I think that's the kind of person he wants to be with, someone who's like fiery
Mhm.
because he's such a big personality. And I feel like he would want someone like I don't think
Could go
Lexi
toe
was
to
like
toe with him.
right. And I think Lexi has it in her, but not with him. Like she's too intimidated.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good read. I also thought it was interesting how they went clubbing with her family and how she's like, "I don't think I've ever partied without my mom or sister."
No, it's weird.
No, it's really weird. I don't like the trope of, like, a family that, like, parties together.
It's one thing if it happens once and like, but the way that she's like normalizes it, and it's like, and I feel like she thinks it's something that makes her like cool. It's just like, mm,
Yeah, she's just like, every club owner, like, they know my parents, like
right.
she's like, anyone that has dated me has met my parents in some capacity because 'cause they're always out with me. Like, I think that's very strange, and I think that there needs to be a separation, and there's, like, a reason why people shouldn't party with their parents.
And like, even if you do, to bring that into the relationship 2 weeks in is a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great that she's close with her family, and I think I'm more, and you probably agree, more traditional where it's like your parents aren't your friends. And,
Totally.
like, they can be, like, like, to a certain extent they are, but, like, it's just, like, a weird boundary to cross.
And it's a weird thing, the fact that you bring it in so early in the relationship. Like, it's just like a bizarre dynamic.
I just wanna say, like, at the dinner when they were talking about the investment and it was, like, 25,000 and Wes was like, "I cannot afford that."
Yeah.
Like, I saw the funniest TikTok of someone, like, imitating West and just being like, "I cannot afford that," and then just being like, "Hey, guys, remember when I said I cannot afford that?"
I
And then him, like, talking to someone and being like, "And then I was like, I cannot afford that." Like, just him
wait,
thinking that he was, like, hysterical and so funny. I'm like, "That was such a good read on that situation." And then I went up to and then he was like, "Hey, Sierra, remember when I said I can't afford that?" Like, he really
wait.
just, like, thinks that he's so funny.
I am so happy you brought that up because that wasn't funny at all,
It really
and
wasn't.
I don't understand why that was, like, why the producers even, like, kept it in, obviously because of what just happened and, like, what happened after and how Sierra was like, "That was so funny," and then and then
So lame.
after he was like, "Did you hear how Sierra thought that that was funny?" So I'm really happy because I was like, maybe I'm the only one who just, like, really didn't think that was funny, so I'm really happy you said that not only you, but, like, the entire internet was like, "What was that?"
Like, just
Bizarre.
like yeah, just such low-hanging fruit, like, such, like, unoriginal comedy, like, and he's just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah,
Yes.
that was fu
That's
I'm so funny."
exactly correct.